You open a brokerage account. Your heart is racing. You've watched enough videos, read enough posts, told yourself enough times that this is finally the moment you stop letting money just sit there doing nothing. And then you freeze. Or worse, you don't freeze. You jump in and within weeks you've lost money you couldn't really afford to lose, and now you're sitting there wondering if investing is just something that works for other people, not for you. If that hits close to home, I need you to stay right here, because what I'm about to walk you through is the real reason most beginners fail at investing early on. Not the surface level stuff you've already heard, the deep stuff. The stuff nobody talks about because it's uncomfortable, and by the end of this you're going to see your situation completely differently. Let's start with the truth that most financial content refuses to say out loud. The market doesn't care how motivated you are. It doesn't reward good intentions. It doesn't care that you stayed up until midnight reading about stocks. The market rewards knowledge applied correctly, at the right time, in the right way, and most beginners don't have that framework yet. That's not an insult, that's just the honest reality. Here's something that thousands of people who've been exactly where you are right now have discovered. The gap between losing money and growing money isn't talent, it isn't luck. It's the absence of one thing, a repeatable, proven process. We have related programs linked down below in the video description that are built around exactly that. If you're serious about changing your financial trajectory, not someday, but starting now, that link is worth your attention. These programs have already helped people shift from confusion to clarity faster than they ever thought possible. Don't scroll past it thinking you'll come back later. Later has already cost you enough. Now let me take you somewhere uncomfortable for a second. Picture the version of yourself that keeps putting this off. Every month that passes without a real investing strategy is a month of compounding you never get back. That's not a scare tactic. That's mathematics. The cost of inaction isn't zero. It's everything you could have built but didn't. Every day you operate without the right foundation, you're not just standing still. You're falling behind. So why do beginners actually fail? Let me break this down in a way that's going to feel very personal, because it is. The first reason is emotion-based decision-making. When you first start investing, you don't have data to lean on. You don't have personal experience to reference. So your brain fills that gap with emotion. And emotion in investing is almost always expensive. You see a stock going up, and something in your chest says go, go, go. You buy at the peak, then it drops. Panic sets in. You sell at the bottom. You've just done the exact opposite of what investing is supposed to look like, and you did it because you felt things instead of following a process. This cycle destroys more beginners than any market crash ever has. The second reason is the illusion of understanding. You watched videos. You read articles. You felt ready. But there's a massive difference between knowing what a concept is and knowing how to execute it under real conditions with real money and real consequences. That gap is where beginners fall apart. It feels like information, but it's actually just familiarity. Familiarity isn't skill. The third reason, and this one stings, is copying without context. You saw someone's portfolio post online. You saw a ticker symbol trending. You heard someone at work mention a stock, and you followed it without understanding why that move made sense for their situation, their timeline, their risk tolerance. What works brilliantly for one person can be a financial disaster for another. Investing without context is not investing. It's gambling with extra steps. Now here's where I want you to feel something, because this matters beyond the money. Think about what you actually want. Not a portfolio number, not a return percentage. What do you actually want? You want to stop lying awake at night, calculating whether your paycheck is going to cover everything. You want to stop feeling like money is this invisible force that controls your life while you just react to it. You want to reach a point where you make a decision about your finances and you feel confident about it, not terrified. You want options, real options, the kind that let you say yes to things you love and no to things that drain you. That future is not a fantasy, it is a decision away. But the decision isn't just to invest. The decision is to learn how to invest correctly, with structure, with guidance, with a process that's already been tested. People who have walked through structured investing frameworks have described it as the first time money stopped feeling like a mystery. That shift from mystery to mastery changes everything, not just financially. The confidence bleeds into every area of life. Let's talk about time, because this is where the emotional weight really hits. The difference between starting with the right strategy at this moment versus fumbling through trial and error for another year or two is not just money. It's time. It's the trips you didn't take, the opportunities you passed on because you couldn't, the stress that aged you, the conversations you avoided because you were ashamed of where you were financially. Every single one of those moments has a price tag, and it's never just numbers. People who have gone from scattered and frustrated to structured and profitable often say the same thing, I wish I had done this sooner. Not because they were impatient, because once they had the right foundation they couldn't believe how much energy they had been wasting trying to figure it out alone. The fourth reason beginners fail is chasing performance instead of building process. You hear about someone who doubled their money in 6 months, and suddenly everything you were building carefully gets thrown out the window because you want that result too. This is how beginners chase volatility, thinking it's opportunity. The people who actually build wealth don't chase, they execute consistently. They stay boring when boring is correct. They know that slow and strategic beats fast and reckless every single time over a long enough timeline. The fifth reason is skipping the foundation entirely. Beginners often jump straight to picking investments without ever understanding portfolio structure, risk management, or what their actual financial goals require. It's like building a house starting with the roof. Nothing holds. Everything collapses eventually. The foundation isn't exciting. It doesn't make for viral content. But without it, every strategy you layer on top is unstable. Here's a pattern among the people who break through and actually build real momentum. They didn't find a secret stock. They didn't get lucky with timing. They found clarity, they understood their own goals, they built a structure that matched those goals, and then they executed that structure with consistency. The results followed. They always do when the process is right. The difference between someone who's still struggling with investing 2 years from now and someone who's thriving is not intelligence. It is not starting capital. It is not even discipline. It is whether or not they took the time to get educated with the right framework instead of guessing their way forward. You've already proven something important by watching this far. You're not someone who gives up easily. You're someone who wants to understand, not just consume. That quality is actually rare, and it's exactly the quality that, when paired with the right knowledge structure, produces results that feel almost unbelievable compared to where you started. So here's what I want to leave you with. The pain you've felt around money and investing is real. The frustration of trying and not getting it right is real, but it's not permanent, it's correctable. And the correction doesn't require luck or a windfall or waiting for the perfect moment. It requires the right information, applied the right way. The related programs in the video description below are there for the person who's done waiting for things to click on their own. The person who recognizes that the cost of not acting is higher than the cost of finally committing to doing this right. If that's you, and I think it is because you're still here, go check them out right now, not after the next video. Right now. The version of yourself that you've been picturing throughout this entire video is waiting on the other side of that decision.